Oh, you know, Freddie Prinze Jr. said something a while back when he was having an interview. He said something along the lines of George Lucas taught Dave Filoni taught me. And watching Dave Filoni craft Star Wars for a new generation, not even for a new generation of people that are just getting into it right now, but for the older fans that are seeing the gems of the space opera just developing in front of them and taking them to completely new directions and new horizons is a fantastic thing. Because there is a ton of symbolism in this last episode. And I mean a ton of symbolism. And I know a lot of people have questions about what exactly is Anakin Skywalker's final lesson? What is he trying to teach Ahsoka? All you have to do is use the context clues that Anakin himself provides, where he tells Ahsoka that there is one final lesson. In her mind, she expects that that final lesson that Anakin has to teach her is something that has to do with fighting. So what do? They have a duel, and he dominates the duel. Then he upends the duel when he destroys the bridge. He sends them plummeting into the past. But he chooses this memory in particular because when they both end up on the battlefield, it's Ahsoka's first battle in the Clone Wars. And shout out to Dave Filoni for finally doing something and conveying something that the Clone Wars cartoon didn't really do a good job of getting across, which is the fact that Ahsoka and a lot of these Padawans that were fighting in the Clone Wars were children. She's like 14 years old on a battlefield with clones being blown to pieces and have getting horribly disfigured, and she's seeing the horrors of war, and she asks Anakin a legitimate question that I feel as though older Ahsoka has completely forgot, which is, is this what being a Jedi is all about? The death, destruction, the war? And Anakin gives her a legitimate response, which is, when my master took me, we were at peace. But the current situation does not give us the luxury of being peacekeepers. We have to be warriors, and I have to train you to be a warrior. And you see how unsettling it is for Ahsoka. And we go back to the foreshadowing again, where Anakin goes walking off into the smoke, and young Ahsoka sees flashes of Vader as he's walking off into the distance, back and forth blending with the silhouette of Anakin Skywalker, and she's terrified. But then we move forward to the very next vision, and it's Ahsoka in a battlefield. She's no longer worried about the lives of the clones. She's not apprehensive to the violence or the danger. She's completely at peace on the battlefield because Anakin achieved what it was that he wanted to do. He turned her into a warrior. And you see the soldiers referring to her as general and running off into the distance, and she's standing there, arms crossed, looking over the battle plan that she basically enacted on Mandalore. And I love just the sarcasm, the snark that Hayden Christensen brings to Anakin, because it's finally seeing that same sarcasm and snark that we've been getting from the Clone Wars, where he shows up and he goes, I'm not familiar with this battlefield. And in Ahsoka's smugness, she's explaining the final battle at Mandalore. And she's still not understanding the message that he's trying to get across. So, what does he do? He turns into Vader. And he starts just absolutely going apeshit fighting her. And they have that saber lock. And in that saber lock, it's a realization on Ahsoka's part, which is the message that he's attempting to get across might just be that the way in which I'm going is not the right way. And I love the fact that he doesn't give her the answer outright. He just softens, the Sith eyes go away, and he goes, there may be hope for you yet, once she decides that what she wants to do is live, which is something that she has not been doing since essentially the Clone Wars ended. She's still a soldier. She's still, in her mind, she's ready for another war. She's chasing down Thrawn because he's the last remnant of the Clone Wars. She's running headlong into another war. She's preparing her Padawan the exact same way she was prepared to fight another Imperial war across the entirety of the galaxy. And if she continues down that way, the reason why her eyes flash red and you see those Sith eyes, she's going to end up in the exact same position that Anakin Skywalker did, which is all the death, all the loss, all the destruction. You stand in the ashes of your entire history and you realize none of it was worth it. And once you acknowledge the fact that everything that you've done was completely worthless, you lose yourself. You lose yourself to the dark side and you begin destroying what's left of your life because you simply don't care anymore. Anakin Skywalker lost Padme. To him, the moment he lost the woman that he loved, which was his entire reason for existence, everything else in his life became worthless until he met basically Luke and Leia. Well, more so Luke than Leia, until he meets Luke and Luke is able to redeem him and bring his father back from the dark side, is when he realizes that not everything was destroyed. There was just a little piece that was there. What Anakin wants basically Ahsoka to see is that there's more to life than what it is that you're currently living. Open up to it, which is also a call. I said it in the review. It's a call forward to what Luke essentially tells, not Luke, what Yoda basically tells Luke, which is that we are what they grow beyond. They learn from our mistakes, and from our mistakes, they realize that there are certain paths and certain decisions that we should not make. That there is always a better way. I love that one of the first things he says when he's explaining everything to Ahsoka before the entire situation begins is that she comes from a long legacy where where a master taught his master, and then his master taught him. He's teaching her, and she has to learn from all of these people's mistakes in order to live the correct path, which none of them technically lived. But I love that symbolism that Force Ghost Anakin basically came back. Like he saw that Ahsoka was in dire straits, and my man showed up and was like, "Look, shawty, I trained you to be a soldier, but on the real, I did the wrong thing. I should have taught you how to be a good person, how to be what the Jedi were supposed to be. And I'm going to take this time to correct it." There are hints that the lesson is not over, that Anakin Skywalker is definitely going to be coming back, and I can't wait to see him again. But let me know what you think. Comment down below, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.